Charmaine, Renita, and Earl.
And we live, y'all. Couples 412. Back on the lake.
Sis.
Everybody, say
hi, Q.
What up?
Couples 412. Back on the lake.
Sis.
So look.
Hi, Q.
Everybody is like,
What
their
up?
first time on video. Can we hear something like keep saying how if you're listening, turn your volume down, I think. It sounds like somebody is
Has an echo.
like somebody's listening. Turn your volume down. That's me.
Yeah, you're delayed. Like,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Couples 412. We have some terrible,
not
distracting family technical difficulties. If you're tuned in now, we are here. And we have a lot of guests on the line. I'm sweating. I had to just calm down for a second because it was like the link wasn't working. I'm like, come on. And then we had to just lay hands on our computers and boom, everybody popped in 9 o'clock. And this is the time that we set aside on a Tuesday, fourth Tuesday of every month to connect with couples online all over the world because we just all can't be together, but we can connect. For those who are intentional about spending 1 hour online with their mate, their significant other, the sugar in their tea, all that old good stuff, to connect and talk about the different topics. This month, we're talking about the blended family. Some people have discovered that they don't even know that they were a blended family. They didn't even kind of realize it because it had become the new norm. And before the night's over, hopefully, we'll be able to put some more nuggets in our bag about how to be better blended families, how to just navigate through it, because you just can't, as you'll find out later, you just can't throw everybody in the room and expect everybody to get along. We definitely know. This is my wife, Dana Peck. I'm sorry, I'm Kevin Impeccable Peck. Our host, Q and Charlinda Parker. They're on the line. How you guys? Nice hat. Good to see you guys. We have Earl and Renita. They made it online.
And we've got a new face to Couples 412, Charmaine Broom.
Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. You can unmute.
Okay.
You can unmute your computer now. Unmute your computer. Can we hear you?
Can you hear me now?
us? We hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, good. Charmaine will be coming on later. She joined us. She's started an organization called Blended Family Rocks. And so we definitely know that they're rocking the blended family, and it's been a hot topic this month. Before we get started, if you've never tuned into Couples 412 before, Couples 412, you're like, what is the 412? It's basically taken from the scripture Ecclesiastes 4:12. You want to jump in? Just yet.
Sure. I just said yes.
Means a cord of three are not easily broken. Basically, if you're going to be in a relationship and in a marriage, the best thing to be there to strengthen both of you is God. So if you put God in the middle of your relationship and let him just pull your hearts together with his, it'll be awesome. And that's what we're here to connect with and talk about. I'm so discombobulated I can't find my notes, but we're going to keep it moving. That's why they help me. Where's my helpmate? Come on in, helpmate. What we talking about?
We're going to talk about this past couple of weeks, our blended selves.
Well, our mission, what's our mission as Couples 412, darling?
It's to strengthen and enhance marriages by focusing on God's divine plan for husband and wife to celebrate the blessing of the covenant, which was last month, covenant.
It's been a trip. I'm just going to tell y'all. We've been married for about a year and a couple months. And this past 2 weeks, all the kids have been here. She has 3, and I have 3. We're better known as the Blades. That's the Black Brady's if you've never tuned into our show before. And the dynamics from the youth to the teens to the young adults asking to use the car and everybody trying to figure their way out has been, let's just say, it was an interesting week. We got a party van, or what we call it, an experience, a 12-seater, and headed down to Mississippi, Biloxi, that is. Where I got some family, and then we ventured on to New Orleans, and it was the kids' first time to Biloxi and to New Orleans, and they got along, and they made it in the car together that long. I mean, we went through 100 bottles of beer on the walk. So, I mean, not beer, whatever. That was how I remembered it. But they were at 99, they were like at 98, at about 70 Q. I was done with them. I was like, put your headphones on and let's talk. So, what's happening over there at the Parkers? Take this camera off me first.
The Parkers are great. We're great, right, baby?
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm
Yes, roll tide, Q, roll tide.
PDA.
Sure.
Hey,
This dog,
chill.
they coming upstairs.
All right.
Chill.
If y'all didn't know,
So,
that was known as a PDA.
we have-
Kissed your husband and wife all day. You can just get one in right now. Personal display of affection. QDA. That was a QDA. That's your new thing, Q.
QDA.
Right.
Earl and Renee.
So,
Go ahead.
it was so dope that the topics that we chose to talk about for this month, and one of the things that we do at Couples 412 is we always like to have our topics that every couple would be experiencing, and I found it very interesting this month when we decided to have the topic being blended families, because a lot of the statistics showed, and Dana kind of brought a lot of the statistics up last week, that almost 70% of families consist of being blended, and it just dawned on me that I said, baby, we're in a blended family. Just to give you a little history of the Parkers. When I met Charlinda, Khadijah was 10 years old, and she just turned 30 in March. So for 20 years, just mommy and daddy. And we've been rocking that way for so long until I literally forgot that we were and it didn't hit me until actually at the Couples 412 meeting, and I'm like, hold on, we're in a blended family. But one of the things that is a true testament to our house and our home, that if you don't treat it as such, then it becomes your reality. And one of the things that I've always done, we've never used the word step in the house. It's always just been mommy and daddy. And for me coming into the situation, I never was one to say, I'm going to replace your biological father. I'm not going to try to fill the shoes, but what I will do is I'll be a positive male figure in your life. I'll lead you, I'll guide you, I'll discipline you, I will love you, I'll protect you, provide for you, all of those things. And one of the greatest moments of this journey was the day she went from calling me Q to daddy. And it was just like, wow, because for maybe like the first year I was just Mr. Q, and when it just kind of transitioned into daddy, I was like, what you say? And it was just like, man, it just made my heart melt. But being a blended family, it becomes what you really make it, and whatever you pour into it, that is what becomes the reality. And a lot of the times the children, they're really they're not the reason for it being blended. They're just one of the byproducts of it, and I think it's our job to just make sure that they're always covered, they're always sheltered, they're always loved. So for any of the blended families out there, one of my pieces of advice will just always be, it's all one, man. When we come in this house, it's just everybody, and we're the family. I come from a big family, and we just love, 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 love. And I've been able to witness the transition in this house going from me being introduced to my daughter at age 9 to now just that's my child. I don't care what you say. You can't tell me no different. That's my child. So, what you guys say, baby? Oh, you ain't got nothing to say? Okay, cool. She don't got nothing to say.
That's usually a moment with the Parkers. We hanging out. If you just tuned in, if you got your computer working, this is Couples 412, and we're live. We do an online session once a month, every fourth Tuesday, just to connect with great couples and to celebrate. We started this because, everything that you see in the media, everything is always something negative when it comes to the family. And even the best family show we had, the Cosbys, they just smacked that down. They probably won't even show any more episodes of that. So that was, not that was a highlight. You still had the Jeffersons. It was a good time. You had a few family kind of shows. Married with Children. I'm just going through the litany of things that are in the media that portray the family as something positive and as a unit. And when Q and I came together, we said we're going to celebrate marriage. And Renita and Earl, they jumped on. They like our favorite first couple. They like just come in first. Yes. All of our whatever events we have live, they here. And they said we're going to be on next month. And guess what? They were on before me. They're like, where y'all at? Yeah. Internet to work. But it's crazy because I'm from a blended family. So I'm from Baltimore. Kids all came. The other 3 had went to visit their dad yesterday. My 3 were here. They all just came back at like 8 o'clock tonight. Like, we got to do this thing at 9 o'clock. And then my mother, she's coming. She's a pastor. She's coming from an annual conference in North Carolina. And she said, you know what? We're going to drive to Atlanta instead of going to Baltimore. So she arrives at 8 o'clock with her bags and everything. First time to our house. First time to Atlanta. And it's great. But we said we committed to do this at 9 every fourth Tuesday. So, you want to tell them we got a guest on the line? Yeah. We got all of us a guest, but we just hanging out. Let's just keep it natural.
Yes.
I don't know Charmaine, but I love Charmaine already.
Thank you so much.
Talking about blended family rocks.
Yeah.
It's got to rock because it's happening. You know what I mean? And if you don't rock it, it's not going to happen.
Right. Charmaine and Terry, her husband, founded Blended Family Rocks. And it's a movement similar to Couples 412, but with the focus of bringing balance to blended families and really celebrating and acknowledging the role that blended families have now taken in society. And I'm going to give the floor to you, Charmaine.
Hi, everybody.
Hey.
So I finally have my phone is. I had to do it from my phone. So.
Oh, okay.
But praise the Lord, I'm here. Glory.
All right.
Hi, Q. Hi, Charlotte.
What up?
So guys, thank you so much for having us. I guess I can say us, even though my husband is not here. He's in New Orleans right now taping NCIS, but he went ahead and said, babe, go ahead, you got it. So, I'm here standing in, for the both of us. But we started Blended Families Rock about 2 years ago, and our mission where Blended Families Rock is concerned, first of all, we love the fact, of course, that we are a blended family, but blended families, we don't get enough love. We don't get enough love. And I feel as if, there's so many things that go into a blended family. It's a lifestyle. And, there are a lot of things that come into play when it comes to flushing through this lifestyle. And so we decided to take what we experienced and what we're still experiencing as a blended family and to try to help and teach and incorporate those into other people and their lives. And maybe they can take some of the nuggets that we, impart in their lives and into their homes and, use those things to help make their blended families, a better family, the best family that it can be. Just a little background, my husband and I started dating in 2008. And at the time, he had his daughter, which is, of course, our daughter. But at the time we were dating, and she was 1 year old. And so I've been in London's life since she was in diapers. And, of course, typically when you are young, and when I say young, I mean like under the age of 25, when you have a child and, the other parent may not be your your boyfriend or your girlfriend any longer, of course there may be issues in terms of the biological parent and the new person getting along.
Right.
And so we experienced a lot of that with London's mother and myself. We didn't really get along in the beginning. We didn't talk. We didn't speak. We would see each other, here and there, but there would be no verbal communication between the two of us. And, it even got to the point where we actually low-key had an altercation. And so I think it was at that point that my husband kind of knew that it was time for him to maybe possibly step in and take the role of being that male presence to kind of set the standard and set the tone for what it's going to be, because he didn't want it to get too far. And so once we got engaged, we all had to sit down and we all talked, and we kind of aired everything out. And it's nothing but the grace of God that he's really literally breathed on our situation. And we're not best friends to this day, but I can say that we're friends. I can say that we're closer than we were. I do feel like we have a long way to go, but I also feel as if the reason why things got the way that they did between her and I is because there's no one out here that's really accessible to us who teaches us how to deal with these types of things. When you're in a relationship with someone who has children and you're not getting along with the biological parent, what do you do? How do you act? How do you feel? How do you go about the best way of expressing how you feel? When you love someone and they have children, you want to have a place, and you want your presence to be known. And so no one really teaches us what to do when we're in these types of situations, what to say, what not to say, how to act, how not to act. And so we're not perfect, but we've learned so much in our experiences. And so we really want to take what we've learned, and we really want to help others who are maybe fighting the same fight that we were in, and that we're still in.
Yeah. Wow.
100%. If you just tuned in, this Blended Family Night.
Yeah, man.
412. Blended Family rocks. It rocks with Couples 412. Couples 412 rock with blended families. 50. What is the number? It's like 50% are going to have a blended family or be in a blended family.
Yeah.
Or a third of every marriage results in a blended family, but that doesn't encompass all the blended families that are affected. You know what I mean?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And there's no book for it. It's no school for it. It's a couple books. Let me not say. It is periodicals out there if you're going to do some digging, but most people, they're digging on each other so much that they don't really get to digging on how the family's going to go when all of them come together, because we in love,
Yeah.
But then when the daughter or the son and they got the problem and it's different and they don't know you and they don't even want you to be here anyway, but you here, and then get to the point of the golden arch when Q says, when they say stop calling you Mr. Q and call you Dad one day, and that's like the aha moment of our motto here at the Pex family is love and patience. LMP, that wins all. That's my whole motto from coming in with my 3 new kids. I call them my kids because they are my kids. It's family. It's really no limit on a family.
Exactly.
You can have a family on the football team. You have a family in the dance team. Whatever you call your family, it's your family. Whether you guys came from the same blood or not, it's your family. So blended families. I'm gonna click over, and while I'm clicking over to look at this PowerPoint, Charmaine and Earl.
Yeah.
Charmaine and Earl. Renita and Earl. Look at me. I'm doing 2 things at once. I'm gonna come back to you, but I just want you to think about, just some things that some challenges that you guys may have had as a blended family, and how you have been able to overcome them. So we started from. Can everybody see the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, I can see it.
All right. I can't see y'all no more, so we're having that amen moment. Technology is wonderful, but you got to work through it. So as I said, we've been married 1 year. We're trying to make the perfect blend. This is our family, the Blady Bunch. I don't know if you're able to see it. It just happened to be 3 boys, 3 girls. And if I don't tell, if you don't know us and they ask who's who, like when we were traveling to Mississippi, the lady in McDonald's, she named all of Dana's biological kids as mine, and vice versa. So we're looking for the perfect blend in a blended family, in a relationship, and many of the families are blended, different colors, different situations, different kind of situations. I always look back to Jesus, his stepfather, that we like to call him, but you call him usually his father, but he was actually in the first stepfather was Joseph, because it wasn't really his son. It was God's son. He just was there to help show love and guidance as he came up. Blended families were very common in biblical times, and they even are so now, which adds some stress.
Yeah. And those two extra stressors that God never intended was that you have someone else's ex, their ex-girlfriend or ex-wife or ex-husband, ex-boyfriend, and then you have someone else's child under your care.
Which is crazy. I know if you're just tuning in, we're talking about blended families.
But fortunately, God has a plan for blended families. It's a plan of hope. And we're referencing Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And because a blended family is such a unique type of family, it can be a dynamic, ongoing process. And we all learn that. I mean, Renita and Earl, can you talk a little bit about your process of blending?
Yes. First, I have to say, roll tide, Q.
Roll Tide. I'm from Baltimore, but whatever. Roll Tide anyway.
Well, it's funny because just like Q and Charlinda, we didn't really realize that we operate as a blended family. Earl and I have dated each other since high school, on and off, and so Earl has been in my son's life since he was 6 months, our son's life. And I can totally say, like, we don't use the word step. Everyone is one. We don't say he's mine, and everything is all in one. Yeah.
Earl, you doing good by showing up, brother. And that's good. I mean, it's good because what you speak into even your family, into your wife, into your kids' life, you can either speak life or death with your tongue. So it's important that you speak life and you speak family and you speak love. So we're going to jump back into the biblical times. Hopefully the PowerPoint is not too slow. We're online. We all want to be on T1 lines. For some reason, we want it faster. You remember when dial-up came, Q? Back in the day? You had to just live through the noise before. Yep. If everybody is on, how common are blended families? Dana, you were right. Approximately 33% of all weddings form blended families. Blended family is more than just one of the fastest growing forms of family, as Charmaine alluded to. May also be one of the most difficult, and the difficult part is just not having a good strategy of how to really blend.
Yeah.
Well, did you want to jump in there, Charmaine, and say something?
Well, I think blended, any family comes with challenges. I really believe that blended families, unfortunately, naturally just come with more challenges. I think that one of the top challenges where a blended family is concerned, or being a part of a blended family, is the spouse coming into the family and basically figuring out and knowing what their role will be. Will I be the disciplinarian in this situation or in this family, or will I be just here for support for my spouse? Those are that's one of the in my opinion, may be one of the largest challenges that come with a blended family, and it may make it difficult. And then, there are other challenges and things that make it difficult, like having to deal with resentment. A lot of people are in blended families, and when the family, first becomes family, sometimes the children will resent the new parent. And the children may be dealing with their emotions and their feelings in a way that they don't really know how to process perfectly. So the way that they execute those feelings is by being disrespectful. It's easy for a child to say, no, I'm not doing this, or I'm not doing that, because you're not my mother, or you're not my father, and I don't have to listen to you. And that could just basically be the child really saying, I'm hurting. I'm feeling as if, I don't understand why my family is broken up. Are you the reason why my family is broken? And so I think, those are some of the challenges that make it difficult. And not only that too, when you incorporate discipline in your blended family, it's like, if you haven't been in the child's life since they were like 4 or 5 and before, it's kind of hard to incorporate discipline after, a child is 5 years old. It makes it really, really hard. But I do feel that what kind of makes up for that is building a bond with the child or the children. I believe that it's really important to develop relationship. And I think, those types of things, and developing trust, can help with the success of, getting the respect that you need, which is just another difficult challenge where blended families are concerned.
Man, you right on topic, and we didn't even send you the slides. But
I'm sorry.
No, I said you're right there. No, it's wonderful. Believe me, whenever you and I can just be quiet and listen and learn, because we all are here learning and sharpening together. So it's like we said, we're intentional about our relationship, we're intentional about our marriages, and we're intentional about making a winning family. And let me ask you, Q, how did you deal with discipline with your daughter?
I took care of that.
Right. See, there's different dynamics, right? I'm harder on Quinnis, but Charlinda was harder on Khadijah. And
I'm hard on both. I just parent, and I'm very strict. Q is like the forgiving parent, the easygoing parent. They can go up over top of my head to ask him, and he'll say yes. But I think I'm the person that really sticks to the guns of disciplining both.
For I think during our transition, so this is another thing that I think is a positive, especially when the person that is coming into the situation is like a grounded individual. Because when I look at Charlinda and our story, Khadijah's father had passed, right? So now there's a void. Right, there's no male figure in her life at this time. It's just mommy and Khadijah, and their motto before me was always, "It's me and you against the world." Right. So when I came in, I could understand, and I expected Khadijah to have some resistance towards who's this new guy that my mom is bringing into our circle now. But we've been very, very blessed because we have 2 great children. And it's like day one, I was accepted into the family. Day one, obviously, Charlene and I were in love, and we had a great relationship. But I had to understand that, and this is something my wife told me from Jump Street that made me realize what was really at hand. She said that, you're not just gonna date me. With me comes my daughter. We're a package. Yeah. You're gonna like me, you're gonna like us. And that was something that she instilled in the beginning. So I had a decision to make. Am I gonna play this dating game, or am I gonna be really serious? Because now somebody else is looking for me to be a presence in their life, and I had to just really put my big boy pants on and understand that I had to be responsible, because now not only am I dating a woman that I eventually want to marry, but now I'm going to be the influence for this 9-10-year-old who needs a male presence in her life. And for me, I'm just glad that I came in during the time that I did come in, because for my daughter, it was at one of the most important parts in any girl's life, growing up to not having a father and a male presence, as opposed to having one and having a male presence. So and you look at our relationship now, that's man, Khadijah is
They
my
have
heart.
such a
Yeah,
tight bond.
that's
Yeah.
my heart. Yeah.
Man, that's
And
awesome.
That's awesome.
So, what I want to say also, it has a lot to do with the family that's around as well. Khadijah's grandmother, which is her father's mother, she accepted Q like Q was her son. So it wasn't any bickering back and forth. That's not my son, and he can't do this, and he shouldn't do this. She just, I think you and her had a conversation, and Q was telling her that he's not trying to fill the void, fill his shoes to be her son, being Khadijah's father, but he would like to carry on and, raise her. So they had a conversation. So I think it has a lot to do with family. Now, was it easy with all the other family members? I think a lot of people had to get used to it, but he stepped in. Khadijah's grandmother accepted him. My mom was fine, and Q, your mom was okay with it, right? Yeah, so I think it has a lot to do with the family that's around as well.
I hear you, and you know what I hear? The theme in all of it is love.
Yeah.
And that's God is very patient with us, and we have to be patient with our mates as well as with our children. Like even I'm not gonna say more patient, but like it's a level, but you have to really be patient and loving. And I began to even read some books beforehand. And even though I came from a blended family, and like I don't call him my stepdad, but I just say to my not biological dad, he's like my father, and my biological dad is my boy, and them two get along. I mean, we can go to a cookout and everybody's there. Typically, if in a relationship, the only time that it's a problem is when somebody still wants to be with the other person.
That's true.
And they
Very true.
and they angry about where they fit in the picture right now. So they put that anger on you, and it's like causing a rift in the family. So out of all the books I read, because I'm not a spare the rod kind of guy. I'm like, if I said it once, that's all the many times I really want to say it. But coming into a situation where they said the children are like 3 to 5 years behind your decision. So just because you decided to get married and to tie this knot and do this thing, they weren't with it. That wasn't their plan. They're like, what is this? This new guy. You ain't my father. But just like Charmaine said, the disrespect can come up there. So it's for the biological parent, when you're one, like when we're in sync, the biological parent of that child is supposed to be the main disciplinarian, according to what the books have said. So, I'm like, you better whip them, because you're going to keep telling them the same thing over again, because they don't know the boundary. Until they know the boundary of, like, every child will push to see how far they can push before, and if we do not teach them the boundary, the street is going to teach them a boundary. And that lesson is not one lesson that you want the kids to learn. Because they're not going to have an unconditional love after they whip them. They're going to whip them and stomp on them, and they might shoot them, kill them, or whatever. But it's our responsibility as parents to show that there is consequences to your actions. So let's get back to the PowerPoint. Earl, you want to say anything yet?
How y'all doing?
Hey, what's up, Earl?
Well, when we started our blended family, we was quite young, and lucky for me, but not lucky for my son, that his father wasn't really involved, so it wasn't any problem on that side of the book or whatever. But it has been trying times, disciplining a kid that's not yours and wondering how the mother really feels about it at times. I still feel like, it's a sensitive spot there.
Right.
I mean, it's all good, but it's still a spot there. That, I see her looking at me. I said it's better me to teach them than somebody out who doesn't have any compassion for them,
Right.
and then
Right.
it ends up being worse than what it really is. So, it's been times, but, I wouldn't change nothing for the world. I appreciate what I have. I was brought here for a reason. She was put in my life for a reason. He was put in my life. And I've sat down and talked to him and told him, you're really my firstborn because,
Aw.
we didn't involve another child till 8 years later.
Mhm.
So, I had to sit down and talk to him because we added a new addition to the family. And, it took, he had been around by himself so long,
It was 11 and a half years later.
11 and a half years later.
For the record, man, we mess up numbers.
Yeah.
But you see my point, though. But he had been alone for so long, and now he has a sibling in the picture. So I know his feelings kind of changed a little, and he thought we was giving more attention to the baby
Mhm.
than him,
Yeah.
That happened.
Yeah.
And we had to sit down and talk to him and realize some things. I'm noticing you bring that up only when you get in trouble. So, is it really what you're saying, or are you just trying to use this as a crutch? It's been trying times, and I had to straighten him out a couple of times, but I wouldn't change nothing for the world. He's my firstborn, no matter what, and just because I didn't produce him doesn't make him not mine, because he's mine. He's even got a
That's
couple
right.
of traits in him. He does some things that I do, and I don't know it any other way but him as
Yeah.
our firstborn, and it's just what it is, and I'm happy to be in this position. I'm so grateful for my wife, my older son, the rest of my kids, but I'm just so grateful that at 19 years old that I was willing to be a part of their life like it wasn't anything, like it was
Yeah.
okay. I'm with it, no
That's dope,
problem.
man.
You
We
need
commend
me to do this.
That's right. We give it up for that because at 19, most guys ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
can't handle it. It's like too much pressure. They haven't found enough maturity within themselves to even take care of themselves, even get out their mama's house, most of them. And for you to do that, I mean, like you said, it was a reason. If you just tuned in, this is Couples 412 Live. The topic this month has been blended families. We meet live once if you're not in the Atlanta area. If you are in the Atlanta area, we meet once live. You can go to couples412.com. You can find out where we're meeting. We connect and we actually see each other live at that particular moment. And then if you just can't catch us and you're running around and it's everything and you want to be there but you can't be there, come right here. Just click on this. Charmaine is on her phone. Earl is at home. I guess I never seen your house, but
Yeah.
you and Charlinda. Oh, you got a question?
I have a question, and this is geared to the ladies, right? At what point do you is it like a switch that happens, or at what point do you say, okay, I know my husband or my boyfriend or whatever is here to be the best it could be in terms of disciplining and those things, because I know that there's a connection between mother and child, right? And when someone comes into the fold that's not the biological parent, how is that dynamic like, and what happens in you guys' mind to just allow you to just say, okay, I'm now comfortable with my husband now speaking to my children this type of way, or disciplining my children this type of way, discipline our children this type of way, or saying certain things to our children this type of way. Is it something that just over time happens? Is it an incident that just kind of happens that say, okay, now I get it? Like, and neither of you can answer that.
Well, what I gotta say is probably it's gonna be really short. I'll let you take this one, Dana. But because you have little kids, as long as you know that he's not disciplining them out of anger and frustration, because sometimes if the kid can, play on the sides of the parents trying to make them be at odds with each other, and then the dad get mad, I'm gonna whoop the child, I'm gonna spank the child, you just doing it out of anger and frustration. I would be okay with it as long as it wasn't you being mad about something that happened between us and the kids came into the middle of it. Hopefully I'm explaining that right. It's just as long as it's not out of anger and frustration and you want to beat the child down. Y'all know it happens. You see parents beat their own kids to be frustrated because the dad not around or this happened, a situation happened. Just like, let's just say, if your stepdaughter was, your daughter was there, and you and the dad have an argument, and then when he leaves, you want to chastise and beat the child and fuss at her and put her in punishment and just be mean to her. That's totally unacceptable.
Right.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now, babe.
Okay. Yeah,
go ahead.
Right, exactly. It's unacceptable.
Gave me an answer Q's question. He gave me like a 10-point question. He was like,
I got it.
I think
something you have to think about.
Reason.
This is something, you know what I mean? Like, I knew what kind of person Kevin was before we got married, because I wouldn't want, I want someone who shared my values to be around our children. So I knew that before. And, we always have to present a united front, even if we aren't in agreement about something. That's something that's important to me. You know what I mean? Like, if I say, get up now and pick this up off the floor, and they don't do it, and so Kevin will say it too. But I'm saying he's not going to say, no, don't pick it up. Don't listen to her. I don't want to hear that. My concern is more about supporting me, and so we can get the kids where they need to be. And I think that's always been my issue. Just back me up. And that's what I'm always looking for.
That's my back.
Good question, Kevin. And this is just me asking the question. So what if Kevin wanted to discipline and you thought it wasn't worth it wasn't like, Kevin, it's not that serious. You don't, he's okay. Leave the kid alone. He's okay. So has something like that ever happened? That Kevin felt like, Kevin, you twitching, your mouth twisting.
I'm sure like that. I don't want it to happen in front of the kids. Like, we would have it, you should have told them to do this and that. And I was like, I know, okay, I'll go back down there and do it. But we handle that without them knowing what's going on.
I'm a chief advisor. I'm like, your mother, is really upset. Yeah. You can remember everything about Snapchat and everything else, and every Thursday it's trash day. I'm a boy, so if you got a boy in your house, they gonna be on trash. That's just the pass along job, because we as men don't want to do trash no more. Trash goes to you. And if you have a son, you can put him on trash. if there's no man in the house, then women sometimes you gotta deal with it, or it'll be a funky house. But guys, if I gotta tell you, and you say you're getting responsible, you want to work up to a car, you want to drive one day, you gotta be able to master trash. Trash is important. It's a small responsibility. But when I find myself having to always remind you, and they got smartphones, they work smartphones smarter than us. Just put a little reminder in, and just get some brownie points. And so even though they don't say that term much, but young kids, get some brownie points with the parents. Right. Do something without being told to do. So, and I've read all the books as much as I've gone from in a year to really just bite my lip to I now have a sterner response and directive. It's more authoritative than it is just passive saying, handle it. You know what I mean? Now it's more like, didn't your mother tell you X, Y, Z? No.
Right. But we have that other layer. We say that complicates the issue. That they have a father in their lives that they see, that had some issues with how you're going to discipline it. You know what I mean? So that's another factor too. We have to involve him too. If something big happens, then it's all about communication. They need to know what's going on.
Yeah, well, they got a good father in their life. You know what I mean? So it's not. I'm more of a coach and a mentor. And if one day you say, Dad, or if you love me, I mean, then I'm gonna always love you because I love your mother. You know what I mean? And I got God's love in me, so I'm gonna love you. You're gonna get loved anyway, whether you like it or not. That's just how it's gonna flow. Charmaine, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, sure. I guess I would be able to speak for those who are entering into a relationship or a marriage with someone that has children, and you haven't brought children of your own into the situation yet. Where London and I, our daughter is concerned, we've had a few issues, where it's been no, you're not my mom. I'm not going to do that. Hasn't been many, by the grace of God. But the way that we have always decided to handle those situations are, I'll go to her father and I'll tell her father, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and we'll figure out a plan away from her eyesight. We'll figure out a plan on how to kind of deal with the situation and handle the situation. And also too, we're blessed at the fact that going back to what Charlinda was saying about how it's just really important about your family just supporting the family. We have a very, 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 very strong support system, including her mother. Even when her mother and I weren't on the best of terms, her mother would always tell her, you're not going to disrespect her. You're going to respect her. And if I hear that you've disrespected her, there will be consequences and there will be repercussions. And so, yeah, so that in itself is a blessing, because you have some women out here or men out here that tell their children, give them hell. Every time you're around them, give them hell, and so, it's petty, but it happens, unfortunately, and it just leaves the children just in this whole big ball of confusion. They don't know what to do. They don't know who to like. They're walking on eggshells every time they're around you. They just, it's just crazy. But, that's what we do in our home. I have never put my hands on London, and I feel like, she knows that I'm not going to put my hands on her. Because she's 8 now and she's in the 3rd grade, and so she tries, she'll push buttons, but she knows that there's only but so far that you're going to be able to go. I've even actually recorded her cutting up one time, and I showed it to her father, and I showed it to her, and when she saw it, she was just like, Mummy, I'm so sorry, I'm so disappointed in myself. And so it kind of turned into a life lesson thing for her. But I really feel like it is the biological parent's responsibility to discipline the child. I do not believe in the non-biological parent beating, whooping, spanking, anything like that. I feel like there's just a different way that you can approach it and that you're supposed to approach it. And children, they don't. You can't whip a child into acting right. I believe that it's very important to try to tap into that child and see, where is this behavior stemming from? I want to understand you. I love you enough to want to understand, where is this coming from, and how can we get to a place where we make sure that this doesn't happen again,
I got you 100%.
God bless you, girl. I came from old school.
Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. My husband has said, babe, I don't mind you, I don't mind you giving her a spanking, because I trust and I know that if that is something that you do, that it's done out of love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But, I haven't had to go there.
Well,
Right.
It's all about being a smart blended family.
Yeah.
And the reason we're here is because we don't have all of the answers. And this is Couples 12 Live, if you just tuned in. And we do it to connect with great people and great couples all over the world so that we can just share ideas. And if something is smart that we need to employ in our family, we're going to use it. Marriage matters more to the stability of the home. So what we learned in the live session was how to cook a family, and we just want to go through this real quick. And basically, how people like to do it, they like to force people to love each other. Like, put everybody in the blender, turn it on high speed, and blend. You know what I mean? Boom. You should love each other. That's it. Then it's a food processor way. In that way, no one remains whole, right? Everybody's chopped up. Everybody's broken. Rapid speed of divorce just makes people resentful. We like to think of it here in Couples 412 and in the Peck family, and we shared it as the crock pot, not the blender. Even though you call it a blender family because you're blending certain things.
We don't want to call it a crock pot family for some reason. It doesn't
Right.
sound.
It doesn't sound as good as blender family. But if you know anything about cooking, even if you don't know, you can figure this out. That everything goes in the crock pot pretty much raw. And it's turned onto a low heat. So you can't just turn up the heat when you just come into the family, and just try to push and force everybody to be together. You just gotta let them over time. This is with love and patience. And if you notice over time, those carrots, they'll start to soften up. Those potatoes will start to soften. That celery. All of a sudden, you have just a delicious, flavorful roast. The patience part of it is the part that we all pray for.
Yes.
We have it. It's called the fruit of the spirit. That means we already have it. If you decided to love Jesus, you've got the fruit. Whether you know you have it or remember you have the fruit, but just don't push too hard. Just let the time that it takes to make the good roast happen. We're approaching the hour. Danny, you want to share anything? We're going to put these some of these slides and these tips on couples412.com because we just kind of want to, we want it to sink in. And if you miss it because you're not always going to get it all at that moment, or even if you want to share with another couple that's blended, maybe we'll just go over this last slide and then we'll just have final words because I like to respect everybody's time and hour.
And we have a few resources too that we'll share. That will also be on our new and improved Couples 412 website that we will debut tonight.
What? It happened today?
Yes. That's all.
Man, look, Q, she been doing it. I'm not even paying attention. We moving to we've got an updated site, couples412.com if you haven't been there. But man, we could talk about this forever, the blended family.
Oh yeah.
But how we make it work, and the Couples 412 part of it is we make it work by using the strategies of the person who created the family, taught us about the family, taught us about marriage. You go to that Bible, and somebody said it was well, no, we're not talking about money, but it was like you've never seen anybody who's tithes consistently for 12 months have a financial problem. So, if you put those principles that God has laid out for the foundation of how to handle your wife, how to handle your husband, how to handle your kids with wisdom, with patience, with love, you're going to win. Mm-hmm. You're going to win, and the family is going to win, and they're going to make a positive, powerful impact on the world. And that's our we're training them up. We had our chance to get trained up. We had our chance to bump our head into the wall and find out what doesn't work. And now we have to train them up so that they can make wise decisions to make powerful impacts in this world. So, Q, final words as we go around the horn real quick. Q and Shar, that just something you would like us to just take away with this blended family crock pot situation.
I'm just really big. We're really big on attacking things from community, understanding that in this whole steps of marriage, it takes form platforms like Couples 412, which is the reason it was created, so that we can come together and we can have conversations about things that are trying for us individually as well as other couples, so that we leave and when we depart from each other, we go out into our communities, or we get on the phone with somebody and we're able to just kind of throw at them some things that we've been able to talk about. And a lot of times, the beauty of Couples 412 is we have some experts that have come in and just drop some little nuggets, because again, we created Couples 412. It wasn't because Q and Charlinda knew everything, it was because Dana and Kevin knew everything, but we understood that as we get together and start engaging in the conversations, we can become better, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to say something that they can take home and implement based on things that we brought home and been able to implement from week one, from forgiveness, finances to faithfulness, to all these things that allows us to be better for each other as a couple. So what I would encourage and challenge everybody on the call tonight is, reach out to a couple that that are a blended family, and just kind of share with them some of the things that we've been able to talk about, because it is a community that enhances and helps us continue to be the couples and the true power couples.
And I just want to end with, it's going to be short so everybody can talk. I just want to end with, I just hope and pray that every blended family can get to the point of where Q, myself, and Renita, and where they can say they didn't even know they was a blended family. Because, it's going to happen. It takes that time to, get to that point that, it's like, dang, we are blended, or Kevin, they call me dad, and it's so regular that you can just totally put all this behind you, or other families as well. It's like first nature. That's my child, So praying that day just come,
Oh, that day is coming. It's coming.
It's gonna come. It's gonna happen. Trust.
It's coming. Renita and Earl, thank you for joining us again, for taking your time out to link in with us. You lock in with us every month. Now you're online with us. Any final words you want to take away that you can share with us?
Well, look, it's not really pertaining to what you all was talking about. I just want to say you all do an awesome job. I think me and my wife has become closer since we, attended this 412 couples group. And y'all have done an awesome job. Y'all come up with great topics. It's just been amazing, and I do feel a difference, and I do see a change, and I think you have helped me and my wife become more of one. So I want to thank you all for even, considering to allow us to enter you all's world right now. So, it's just great. I enjoy listening to you all. I mean, every time we come together, I can take something away from it and better our lives. So I just want to say thank you all for everything y'all have done.
Man, we love you all. You about to make you cry.
Oh my God.
Camera.
One of our favorite couples at Couples 412.
Charmaine, you know what? I don't know where Dana found you, but the blended family rocks, and it was like a blessing. We can't wait till your other half is able to get on.
Yeah, I can't wait either. Really excited. I'm just
anything from my blended family or rocks that you want to or just from yourself that you want to share.
I guess in closing, it's just I just really want and hope that, those who are watching and those who are listening and are a part of a blended family, just know that blended families can work.
Mm-hmm.
Blended families do work.
Yeah.
It just takes work.
Mm-hmm.
And
There you go. That was nice.
The work is worth it. You get out of it what you put into it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And so, but I just have to, because I'm a believer and I'm a follower of Christ, I have to always just rely on the Word of God. And,
Mm-hmm.
The Bible talks about how all things are working together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. And so, you just really have to believe that and know that what God has put together, it's for a reason, and no man can put asunder. And those words are absolutely true, man. There's power in healing. I mean, there's power in love. There's healing and forgiveness, and there's power in prayer. So,
Amen. She said it's worth it, but it's worth it. It's worth it. And she starts
absolutely, it's worth it.
All day for working for my good. I was like, it's intentional. I was starting to sing the song. You was starting to sing the lyrics. But that's what we are at Couples 412. We are intentional about getting better. That's just it. That's just our mindset. It's like we can't fail. We have to win. We are part of a winning God. We got a winning Father who loves us, and we have to win. And we have to just pull everybody in, because sometimes you just need one little idea, something that just turns you on.
Yeah.
It's gonna turn you on next month. get into some intimacy. That's gonna be the topic in August. Before the summer gets out, it's gotta heat up, people.
Oh yes.
The bedroom has to heat all the way up. If it's freezing, you gotta turn the heat up. We're gonna find out. We're in a new location. Go to couples412.com. Find out the new location. Where we gonna be meeting at? If you're in the Atlanta area, just come. Just come hang out. Don't come with any expectations. Just bring yourself. Bring your wife. Be intentional. And I see the finger up.
No. I want to say, and we welcome Pastor Stephen Thurston. He should be back next month.
All right.
So he'll be back for August.
All right.
If you haven't met him,
Mhm.
he's gonna take
Get
some
ready.
pressure off. We've been trying to teach his part. He's like, look, man, you've been
Tell him when he's been
Right.
back, right?
gone for 2 months.
Sabbatical.
But anyway, man, we miss you guys. We look forward to connecting you till we meet again. My kids, they are all in there. They had to be quiet for 1 hour. You know, that hour is coming up before they act buck wild. My mom just arrived, which, you know, with my whole blended family is here. So we love you, Couples412. Thanks for hanging out. We hope we can hang out with you again. God bless you. Couples412.com, new website.
Yes.
It's there.
Yes.
I can't show it. We gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta click on it.
All right. Okay.
Love y'all. Thanks for
Bye.
hanging out
Love you.
tonight.
Bye.